So you might be saying, okay, I hear that the church is doing a 40-day fast and I'd like to participate, but how do I choose what to fast from? That's certainly a common question. And what I'd like to do just real briefly is to kind of walk you through my process for figuring out something to fast from, and maybe kind of my process will be helpful to you. First of all, it's important to recognize that what you choose to fast from is really between you and the Lord. There are not a lot of kind of quote-unquote rules you need to go by, and it shouldn't be something where you feel a lot of pressure from somebody else or some other entity to fast from anything in particular. It really is up to you. Now, within that, some helpful principles that I've found for me is, number one, I need to choose something that is noticeable. If I'm going to remove something from my life, it's important that it's something where I'm gonna notice that it's missing. If it's an element of my life that maybe is very subtle or something I don't really think about, that's not a great thing to fast from. Or if it's something that simply is not a common part of my life, that's not gonna be a very good thing to fast from. Because it's important to remember, the purpose of the fast is not to simply remove something from your life, or it's not just about deprivation. The point of the fast is you remove something from your life, and when you notice it is missing, that is a reminder to you to pray. So that's why it's important that what you choose to fast from is noticeable. And then along those same lines, it's important that it's something you engage with frequently. So if you choose to fast from something you engage with on only, say, a weekly basis, I mean, that's okay, but the problem is you're only gonna notice it on that once a week time when you engage with it. It's much more effective to fast from something that you engage with more regularly. So for example, I know of somebody who once during the 40-day fast, they fasted from evening television. They like to watch different shows throughout the week, and they decided, okay, for the 40 days, I'm gonna fast from television in the evenings. Now, that's much more effective than simply fasting from one TV show that might be on once a week. So that way, several nights during the week, that person noticed the deprivation and then was reminded to pray. I like to fast from a few different things just because I like to fast from things that I encounter at different times throughout the day so that they remind me to pray. And something I've shared before at Bridgeway, and this might seem very silly, is that one year I fasted from putting cream in my coffee. That I put cream in my coffee every morning. And I decided for the 40 days I was gonna go without coffee creamer. And you might say, well, that's not much of a sacrifice. And I would say you are absolutely correct about that. However, I noticed it every single day. So when I would drink my regular black coffee, that would be a reminder to me to pray. It would set my mind on the Lord at the start of my day. And then another thing that I encourage is whatever we choose to fast from, it should be a little bit painful to deprive ourselves of whatever that thing is, but not too much. If you fast in such an extreme way that it just makes you bitter and angry and upset, that's really not helpful. At the same time, I like to make the joke of fasting from broccoli is probably not a great idea, even if you eat broccoli regularly, because very few people are like, oh man, I can't eat broccoli, right? And again, the point isn't that you would be upset or that you would deprive yourself, but I believe that we pray a bit more powerfully when there's a little bit of sacrifice involved. And we pray a bit more powerfully when our desire for whatever it is we've given up, whether it's television or social media or sweets or different beverages or things like that, when we give those things up and we think, man, I really enjoy those things, it is a reminder to us that God can fill us up and God can give us peace and God can fill our hearts more than those things possibly can. So that's why I always like to recommend find something where it's a little bit painful, like it's a sacrifice to lose whatever that thing is, but don't go so far that it's just gonna make you bitter and angry and upset. So once again, just to recap, it's noticeable, something that you're gonna, man, I feel its absence from my life. It's frequent, it's something that you see regularly because again, the purpose is that you notice it's missing and that inspires you to pray. And you may want to do what I do, which is I like to pick something I'll notice in the morning, something I'll kind of notice throughout my day, and then something I'll notice in the evening. And that's just what works for me. And then you want it to be something that hurts a little, so it's a sacrifice, but not so much that it makes you bitter and angry. I think if you use those three principles, you'll find there are a lot of possibilities for you, and it's just a matter of you and the Lord talking and you determining what makes sense for you. So hope that's helpful for you, and I hope that that can just kind of set you on course for this to be a really powerful and rich and rewarding time of drawing closer to Jesus.